What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start the show by being transparent. And yesterday, I didn't make any plays, so don't really have anything to report. Vino, did you get to the window with anything yesterday? And also, it's good to be back with you here today.
I did get to the window, and somebody should have stood in front of me and stopped me from getting to the window because I had the college football game, Delaware, and boy, they were so bad I can't remember them now. Delaware and Louisiana over the total. Very low scoring game. Louisiana quarterback gets hurt in the second quarter of that one, plays on one leg the remainder of the way. Um, so that did not work out well, but certainly a huge card today, and a couple of things already up and posted for clients. So look forward to a big day today.
Yeah, we have a humongous NFL slate and have Thursday night football as well. So let's get to it. First up, Rob Vino, we have the Hawks and the Hornets. This one opened up -4.5. Looks like 5.5 now. Total open 232.5, up as high as 239. You do have Trey Young questionable. Porzingis out. Dante questionable. For the Hornets, LaMelo's questionable. There'll be no Connaughton, Trey Mann, Sexton, or Grant Williams. Um, Trey Young has been out for so long. Even if he does come back, he's probably not going to play a whole lot of minutes. And I would worry about, when you try to integrate a high usage player like that, it could mess up whatever you had going. So just because of that, that makes me want to look towards the Hornets plus the points. How do you feel about this one, Vino?
I'd kind of agree. The team hasn't been that bad without Trey Young. Tell you the truth, 13-9 straight up. Seven of those losses actually were to really good teams above 500, so no shame there for Atlanta. But they keep their head above water by 4 games without Trey Young. Certainly pretty impressive. The Hawks also Skee best road record straight up in the NBA, 10-6. Um, they've played a lot of road games, but they've still been good on the road. Now, here you're asking them to win by margin against Charlotte. I would think, as you said earlier, that Trey Young getting back into the lineup is going to be totally different for this team. Got to readjust, get reaccustomed. And these aren't teams that have played a lot of basketball as of late. You and I talked yesterday off air about how disruptive that cup tournament can be to teams. We see a couple of changes in results over the last couple of days when teams actually did play. So for me, it would probably be Charlotte plus the points. They've gotten somewhat healthier here. I mean, the top three, Ball, Knipple, and Brandon Miller, certainly, and Miles Bridges, the top four, certainly able to score points here. Total bet up to 225.5. Not sure I disagree with that whatsoever. In fact, in a game between these two, it seems somewhat low, 225.5. We know there's going to be a little bit of tempo out of the Charlotte side for sure. So I didn't play, but I would probably look that way for total. I would look over, and for side, I'd be looking at Charlotte.
All right, next game up, we have the Knicks and the Pacers. Says it opened 3.5. Looks like 4.5 right now. Total open 221.5, up to about 225.5. For the Knicks, still a lot of question marks. We have Hart, Ananobi, Towns, Mitchell Robinson, all questionable. McBride and Shamit remain out. For the Pacers, no Neesmith, no Shepard, no Obi Toppin. Um, Knicks just won the cup, Rob. Now they go fly to Indiana. Do we think they'll give their best effort here tonight on the road?
That celebration after the game, and again, we were talking yesterday. I had read that the Knicks will not hang a banner inside Madison Square Garden to signify this championship. But that aside, I can only treat this as Daryl's putting it up there right there as a letdown situation for New York. And it's across a couple of time zones. Obviously, you're in Las Vegas. Now you're in Indiana. So I think for the Knicks, there's a little bit of travel fatigue. There's obviously a letdown situation. Played a tremendous fourth quarter. Because remember, they trailed by at least 11 or 12 in that third, and we're trailing entering the fourth. So they exerted a lot of energy in that fourth quarter. I'm not sure. Indiana's no great shake ski, but sometimes, as you say, we kind of have to look for those dirty dogs. And I know they're not dirty in terms of being a double digit underdog, but still, it's hard at times to get to the Indiana side and place money on them. But if there's ever an opportunity, it would have to be here. I kind of disagree with this line move. Went from 3.5 to 4.5, fives. If you shop really well, you can even catch a 5.5. For me, it would be Indiana in some capacity, whether it be their offense, the team total here for them is only 110.5. Modern NBA, that doesn't seem very difficult to get to. But more than that, I think the points. Indiana could probably eke out a win here against New York, which is a team that's just not in a great situation.
All right, we're in agreement on that. I like the Pacers. I don't think everybody's going to play. Even if they do play, I just think it's a big letdown spot after winning the NBA Cup. Our next game is Heat and Nets. Opened up 6.5. Looks like 7.5 right now. Total open 226.5. Looks like 228. As far as the injury report, Highsmith and Cam Thomas out for the Nets. No Hero, Jovic, Larson, or Rozier for the Heat. Norman Powell is in though. So both of these teams, well, actually the Heat been stinking it up more. Heat have lost at least 5 in a row. The Nets honestly been playing a little bit better. They're the number 2 defensive rated team last 5 games. This just screams to me, Rob Veno. Like this, the Heat have lost 5 in a row and they're laying 7.5. I feel like they're favorites for a reason. And to me, they got called out by D Wade once on TV for the effort level in that Magic game. You have Bam now talking about defense and how they need to be able to rely on the defense, even if they're not making shots. Because we talked about, they're barely making it to 111, 110 lately. So I think you get a really good defensive effort from them. I think they're favored in this game for a reason. I like the Heat and I like the under. What do you like?
I'll give you my theory on the Miami Heat. And it's only mid-December, Skis, so you wonder how this could happen. But I kind of feel this way. Miami was one of the slowest paced teams in the NBA for years under Spoelstra. This year, they decide they want to be the fastest paced team. And the other night we talked, it was against Toronto, I think, right? Where we were suggesting maybe play the under because Miami just hasn't scored. They're 111 or less in their last 5. They're 111 or less in 7 of their last 9. And I think maybe they might have ran themselves out of gas early. You can't just go from 30th in pace or 29th in pace to first in pace, 104 possessions per game or whatever it was, every single night and not feel some effect. Could they bounce back from that? They may just be hitting a wall at this point in time, but I'm not willing until I see it to go ahead and risk anything on their offense suddenly turning things around. And maybe the lack of defense correlates to they've just been running so much in every single game that there's no energy on defense as well. Now, that being said, there's been a lot of time space in between games, as we mentioned already, due to the cup. Some blank days where you can rest, sometimes 2, 3, 4 days off for these teams. Still, I want to see Miami get back to it because it doesn't, in what I've read today, it doesn't look like Coach Spoelstra is going to change what they've been doing this year. It doesn't look like they're going to go back to being a slow possession team. Their number of possessions per game has dropped from 104 to 100, 4 per game. Maybe indicates that they are just a little bit out of gas at this current point in time. We'll see how it goes tonight. If that's the case, I would probably lean with you on under in this game, but I don't know that I could get to Miami until I see them pick it back up and do what they were doing early on. Up, muted.
Yeah, I'll be proactive here, Rob. I think that the break does them justice. I mean, yeah, you could look at that. I mean, you could look at the game versus the Raptors too. I mean, that's a bad loss right after 6 days off. They've had another couple of days off after that. So second game in like 8 or 9 days, that's enough to think about and fix what's going wrong and, have all this stuff marinate as to why you've been playing so bad and everybody talking about you. On the other side, Nets just won by 45. They're chilling. They're,
It had to be Doc.
yeah, they're chilling over there. They ain't worried about nothing right now. I like the Heat and I like the under in this game, Rob. Clippers and Thunder opened up 15, looks like 17 and a half total. Not really moving too much. As far as the injury report, Cam Christie questionable, James Harden, Jones out, Niederhauser out, Hardenstein out, Topic out, Jalen Williams, not J Dub though. I think that it's never bingo night, Rob Veno. It's never ever bingo night. These Clippers, I don't want nothing to do with them right now. I mean, Harden's not playing. It looked like he should have stayed out the other game too. He didn't look like he wanted to be out there. I just don't like anything about what I'm seeing from this Clippers team. There's no reason to like them. We know how good the Thunder have been all year. Thunder are off of a loss, maybe feeling like they should have won the cup too. I could only look towards the Thunder here, but I'm gonna chop it in half and go first half. I think they'll be up by double digits after 24 minutes. What do you think here, Vino? Thunder and Clippers?
I think, and I don't have the numbers in front of me. Maybe we can get those while I go through this quick here, Skee, of Thunder first half. I feel like they do get the teams fairly quickly. We've talked about how the Clippers just cannot get up and down the floor. And Chris Dunn to replace James Harden, we're not going to say that James Harden gets up and down the floor, but when he's on the floor, he scores points. Chris Dunn is not going to replace James Harden's points. And that entire Clippers starting lineup that's projected tonight, Dunn, Bogdanovich, Kawhi, Collins, and Zubats, Oklahoma City, the way they play could run circles around them, and this could get ugly really, really fast. So there's no way I would be playing Clippers here. I don't even know if their point total is going to make it to what the suggested price is here, what market price is here. Because Oklahoma City, I agree with you. Just in reading some stuff prior to Cup and reading some quotes after Cup, Oklahoma City really was, in fact, trying to get it this year after being knocked out by Milwaukee last year. Last year, they felt like they kind of self-imploded on themselves in that game and probably could have beat Milwaukee. This year, they wanted to go out and prove. I think we might have said a few days ago that Oklahoma City just looks like a team that wants to win every single game, right? They want to go 80-2. They want to win a cup trophy, a finals trophy, etc. And that's kind of what they said to a man after that loss. So I would say OKC in some way, shape, or form. First half, like I mentioned, I don't know the exact numbers, but I do feel like they score
16
a
and
bunch.
9.
16 and 9. There you go. Pretty solid numbers there. So I don't know how you could look at the Clippers.
Yeah, them tennis balls and walkers gonna get ran off the court tonight. Good luck back in the Clippers. Next game, Raptors and Bucks. I'm gonna just keep this short and sweet. I want nothing to do with either one of these teams, honestly. I'm considering Mamu props, whether probably rebounds, because I don't think Perdo's going to play. He was downgraded to questionable, but other than that, I'm not really interested. Anything for you for Raptors and Bucks?
82 points against the Nets, Milwaukee. And it led Doc Rivers to say this is basically genius as far as quotes go. Guy's been around forever. Here's what he comes up with. Either we're not executing well enough or we're not good enough. what is that supposed to mean? It's unbelievable that that guy could come up with that type of quote. Raptors, to their credit, did bounce back and win the other day against Miami after they were on, I think it was like an 0-8 point spread run. They bounced back and won. Played pretty good defense. Milwaukee's just a team I want nothing to do with. Didn't bet the game, but if I was going to bet, I'd be on Toronto here. I could see Toronto at least being charged up after breaking their losing streak. In Milwaukee, you lose like that to Brooklyn, I don't know how you bounce back from that.
Yeah, I'm staying away from that one. That's just ugly. Houston and New Orleans opened up 10 down to 9.5. Total hasn't really moved. For the Rockets, same three guys out who've been out. Pelicans, same guy, Murray. Other than that, these teams are healthy. I feel like, and this is off the top of my head, I forget the last Rockets game, but I feel like it was an embarrassing game for them. Other than that, and I'm gonna try to look it up here. Other than that, Pelicans have been playing really good basketball lately. Oh no, it wasn't too embarrassing. It was that was the game they got cheated actually. Yeah, the refs were those refs were terrible. Ime said that they need to be working at McDonald's after that game. So yeah, I remember that game now. Um, the Pelicans, they've been playing good. I've taken them. I feel like a few times in a row almost, and they've been covering every single time. It's very hard to look at those 10 points and not want to take them here again. How do you feel about Rockets and Pelicans?
It is crazy, right? It's a 5-22 team, but yet they're third as I look here in covering numbers in the NBA. 61.5% cover rate by the Pelicans. So as bad as they are at not winning games, in our line of business, they do win, right? For us, they're like one of the better teams in the league. We don't care about their 5-22, so it's hard to ignore points. Zion's in the lineup tonight, I believe, which we talked about Trey Young earlier. I don't know that that would be as Zion's been in and out, in and out, in and out. Not quite as long as Trey was out, but I think it all depends on Houston's level of interest. If Houston's really interested off that Denver game, that overtime game was the one you were speaking of, the 128-125, where a referee whistle got the game to 117 at the end of regulation and forced that overtime. I think if Houston's interest level is there, I'd be afraid to play New Orleans. But if it's just, it's New Orleans and we're supposed to whack them and they just come in to do the job and nothing more, New Orleans is going to be scrappy for 48 minutes. They've shown that they can play even without Zion. They can get the job done. So it's hard to bet against a team that's covering at that rate. I'll say that. I mean, if you do so at your own risk. Um, Houston's one of those teams that could, there is a scenario where they can blow this team out of the water. I didn't play this game. You thought the previous one was too ugly to play. I kind of feel like this one is as well, but I think you can make a case for both sides.
Yeah, I would agree. Pistons and Mavericks open 5.5. Looks like 7 or 7.5. Total came down from 231.5 as low as 228 for the Pistons. See if I can find them here. Nobody on the injury report. For the Mavs, AD, Najee Marshall, D'Angelo Russell, Brandon Williams, all questionable. Um, I feel like the Pistons will be able to score whatever they want. I mean, no AD does hurt the defense more than anything. I feel like they're still going to be able to. Well, actually, no. The more I think about it, this is tough. This is tough. I do think the Pistons can score, and I do think that they can hold the Mavs down. So I guess that makes me lean with the Pistons on the spread. How do you feel about Mavericks and Pistons?
This is I was going to say this is a tough game for me, Skee. Dallas had been playing really well until their most recent game. They lose to Utah. Of course, going to Utah and giving up the amount of points that they did, excuse me. A lot of teams do that, right? Utah scores on a lot of people at home, so I'm not too worried about that. We were worried the other day, and I would be worried again about Maverick rim protection. It's down to Daniel Gafford only because Derek Lively's gone for the year, because AD's out. So Detroit's a team that will get to the rim, and they're good at the rim, both defensively and offensively. There's probably nobody better, or at least you could argue he's one of the premier guys on the offensive glass. Jalen Duren, they get a lot of second chances with him. I like the way he plays. That's going to be a big mismatch here for those playing props. Maybe you take a look at Duren here because his counterpart is Gafford. And I don't think Gafford, he rarely goes 30 minutes. So maybe you're looking at 28 minutes out of Gafford, and then the rest with the Mavericks going very, very small. Detroit should be able to get theirs. It could lead me to a team total. Let me just say this, though, real quick while I have this in front of me. Dallas is 8-0 over their team total in their last 8 games. Kind of crazy, but they've been scoring on their
Because
own
they
quite
got
a bit now.
competent point guard play.
Yeah, you know what? You put a Nembhard in there and you're
Yeah.
A-okay if you're in college or in the pros, it works.
Hmm.
Um, so they've been scoring a lot. We think Detroit will score a lot. I think collectively we think Detroit will score a lot. Perhaps you could look at an overplay in this game. But Dallas is going to have difficulties, no doubt, at the rim in this one.
Yeah. I'd have to, man, I do think Detroit's defense is solid. It's the one thing holding me back here. But Mavs offense has looked good. Can't deny that. Tough game. Next game we'll look at will be Magic and Nuggets. And opened up 7.5 down to 6.5 or 7, depending where you shop. Total going up though from 232.5 as high as 236.5. Hardaway questionable, Watson questionable, Braun and Gordon out. De Silva questionable, no Castleton, Suggs, Mo Wagner, or Franz Wagner. Magic have been playing well, but I don't like all the injuries for them. And honestly, I'm just the Nuggets, they just find a way to keep winning and I just don't want to step in front of it right now. It's kind of how I feel. But the market, I don't know. This game, I can't bet against the Nuggets. In Nuggets games right now, I want to bet over. I know we talked about, the quotes for with the guys on the court, they're playing faster, but Watson is questionable. Missing some points also from the Magic. I have a feeling you like the over though.
Yeah, and in specific, Skee, I would like the Nuggets team total over. You take a look at this number that they're giving us here, 121.5. Denver scored 121 or better in 17 of their last 20. That's 85%. They get to at least 121. Orlando plays with pace. They haven't really backed off of that philosophy change this year, so you're going to get a little extra. And then I just bring into play the altitude for Orlando. If you're going to get into a semi-pace game in altitude and you're a little bit depth shy because of injury, that can only hurt your defense. So to me, it's almost a mechanical knee-jerk reaction to play Denver over their team total at this point in time, especially at this number. I get scared, or I've gotten scared a few times during this recent run when it's posted at 125.5, 126.5. I have to start thinking, can they really get to 127? But at 121.5, the low end of the 120s at home, just seems to me like they get there routinely. So I'll be there on that play. Denver team total over 121.5. And I don't think that I could argue anybody off a full game because if we've said it once, we've said it 100 times. They're just not really that interested on the defensive end in most of these games. They give up a lot of points.
Lakers and Jazz opened up -6.5. It's up to 9. Total about where it opened. You will not have Markkanen and Niang for the Jazz. Ayton, Reeves, and Vincent are out for the Lakers. Um, I think this one moved in the right direction. I mean, no Markkanen. That's a lot missing from that Utah team. They're probably gonna, or they are gonna struggle a lot more than the Lakers would to score tonight, um, without Reeves. And we've seen the Lakers play a couple of times without Aiden. They've still been able to cover both. Um, both games did also go over. So I look at this game like the Jazz just won't be able to keep up offensively. That's kind of how I feel. And the Lakers, I know you're missing Aiden, which is the big deal, but they've gotten challenged recently by Coach Reddick. To be specific, Luca and LeBron, as far as on the defensive end. So if you're telling me the Lakers are going to try on defense, and the way that the Jazz look without marketing, I think they can win this game by double digits. How you feel about Lakers Jazz, Vino?
I feel like I need to ask you, do you trust that Luca and LeBron are going to play defense, or do they just tell JJ Redick, we're Luka and LeBron. We do what we do, and we don't have to really. I know LeBron's good friends with JJ Redick. Maybe they listen. Maybe they try. Not really good defenders to begin with. I put a big red X through this one to start with, so I'll tail with you and trust your opinion on this one, because I thought that there was too much missing from each side to come up with a real good play, at least my line of thinking. And I will say this, for what it's worth, DeAndre Ayton, I mean, and you watch the Lakers as closely as anybody, but to me, it looks like DeAndre Ayton has really gotten more involved in a positive way offensively. And now he's going to sit down. So maybe it takes a little bit away. I really wouldn't argue points in this game. I mean, the Lakers still have plenty of firepower, and the Jazz still don't play a lot of defense. And in Utah, you usually get high scoring games. But maybe I would look at it from the Lakers' perspective, only their team total. But like I say, I'll listen to you on this one because I have no good look.
Yeah, that would be the Lakers team total if you're looking for some points on this one for me. Warriors and Phoenix opened up 1.5 point favorites for the Warriors. Still sitting around there. Total went up from 228.5 to 231.5. As far as injuries, Horford out, Spencer out for the Suns. Grayson Allen questionable, Livers questionable, Jalen Green out. This Warriors team just I can't trust them, Rob Veno. Kerr, he doesn't know what he's doing right now. He has no like it's just malpractice from what I see for this Warriors team. I could talk about it for a good 5 minutes probably, but he just doesn't know what he's doing right now. And Curry's been a good coach, so I have no clue why it looks like this right now. Um, but I can't put my money on that. Steph Curry scores 46 and they still lose? No,
Exactly.
absolutely not, Rob Vino. So it's Phoenix or nothing for me. Sounds like you agree.
I do agree. And I'm going to ask you this because I didn't realize this until this morning when I read it, that this is the final year in Steve Kerr's contract. And some people think that he's just going to go out as coach of the Golden State Warriors, not really re-sign. Now, if that's the case, and a guy's just playing out the final year as head coach, I mean, that could halfway explain what you're seeing with your eyes, the way he's operating as the head coach, and say, like, you know what, I'm done here anyway. So who really cares? But they've had 9 different lineups in the last 9 games. How do you build any continuity with 9 different lineups in 9 games? Makes no sense. I do, for what it's worth, and I didn't think Phoenix was going to be all that good this year, but I do at least respect what they've done this season. They're playing hard. They're off back-to-back losses, so the hunger will be there to get a victory here tonight. I think Phoenix is probably the right side here, Skee. I'm with you. Golden State is really Golden State in name and reputation only at this point. You have to sweep that aside and realize that it's just not that team right now.
Yeah, definitely not the Warriors of old. And could only look towards the Suns in this game. All right, last game, another game I want absolutely nothing to do with Ravino. So I'm not gonna waste anybody's time. If you want to talk about Kings and Blazers, feel free. But I got nothing for you guys.
Just really quick, the difference in Portland home court play. 7-0 against the spread as a home underdog, last 7, but yet 0-3 at home when they're asked to lay points. Seems pretty simple, right? Take points with Portland at home, good bet. Lay points with Portland at home, 9 points. Why? Because Zach LaVine is out? Makes no sense to me. So I wouldn't be laying 9 with Portland here. I think the numbers, the point spread numbers speak for themselves. You can't lay 9 with Portland. I would probably, again, if it was the only game on the board and somebody forced me to bet, I guess I would be with Sacramento, but I won't play.
Yeah, you couldn't pay me to bet this game or watch it. No, you can pay me to watch it, but not bet it. All right.
If it comes with a couple of tequila and pineapples, we'll watch anything.
We could talk.
Talk.
Rams and then Seahawks.
Yeah. Wow.
This is a big game, right? They're tied at 11-3. It opened as a pick 'em. We have Seattle -1.5 now. Total did come down from 46.5. Looks like 40, we'll call it 43 right now. Man, these teams played earlier in the year, Vino. That game was, well, before I say that, if I was to just think off the top of my head, which one of these teams I think are better, I would probably say the Rams. Um, then when I think about that last game, I mean, all right, they barely won 21-19. That's with 4 interceptions from Sam Darnold. I mean, he barely squeaked out a win, and he gave you 4 picks. I don't think you're getting 4 picks tonight. I'm just gonna say that. And then you have Devontae Adams banged up, right? He could not play tonight. You have Puka out getting drunk every night. He's not gonna play for the first drive of the game. I don't know, Rob Vino. It seems like a spot where Seahawks in that 12th man get a little bit of revenge and take the lead in the division. I think the Seahawks are the right side. Do you like the side? You like the total? How you feel about this one?
Now, I bet the side, Skee. I bet Seattle here. I've been talking about them for about the last 5, 6 weeks now. I actually bet them to win the NFC. I came late to the party, as I always do, where these conference winners or Super Bowl winners are concerned, only because I'm scared to death of one injury ruining your team. Something like what happened to Indianapolis. And all of a sudden you're stuck with a 44-year-old quarterback after you had such a great start to the season. But about 10 days ago, I bet Seattle at plus 450 to win the NFC. Honestly, I think I could make the case for them being the best, or at least having a good opportunity to beat any of the top teams in that conference. To your point, Puka's brother is also out stealing SUVs. So, I mean, we got a lot of stuff going on,
From the
right?
Lakers guard, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what's
And
going on
stole it
here?
and went to valet it as well.
It's absolute craziness. On a short week, they found a chance or the opportunity to do all of this. The Lakers' flights last night got all messed up. They got delayed. They got delayed twice. They had to fly separately to get to Seattle. So on a short work week with trouble getting to the venue, makes it even worse. But I'm just going to go back and I'll very quickly go over some of the things that you talked about in that game where they only lost 21-19. And Jason Myers had an opportunity. I mean, it's not a great opportunity, but it was a 61-yard field goal chance to win the game for Seattle after 4 Sam Darnold picks. They had 26 first downs to the Rams 12, plus 4. Rams 12 first downs doesn't even seem like that's possible, but it was true. They ran 29 more plays than the Rams did, 79-50. They had a 15.5-minute time of possession edge, the Seahawks did. 414 yards is the most LA's given up all season long. That was to Seattle. 249 is the least they've gained all season long. That was against Seattle. For the Seahawks in this game, I'll add this. In that earlier meeting, Cooper Kupp played on a snap count. He just came back off of an injury. Here he's healthy. It was the first game Rashid Shaheed played for Seattle. He had just got acquired, and he really didn't have any rapport with Sam Darnold. Now you saw last week, they're throwing the ball. I think they threw it to him 7 times last week. Got all these things working in favor of the Seahawks here and the 12th man. Seattle didn't have to travel, right? They were home against Indianapolis Sunday, so the short work week, benefits them with no travel. I just thought this price was extremely low. The only concern I have here, Skee, is that for the Seahawks, their left tackle, Charles Cross, is out of this game. Sam Darnold's blindside protection. He's pretty good at his job, and they're going to go with a replacement there. But I'm with you, at least in the line of thinking that he won't throw 4 picks here. And I feel like once they go over film and stuff, at some point, Sam Darnold's going to correct that type of thing because it's the only argument I ever hear against Seattle. I tell you the truth. People tell me, well, Sam Darnold will fold when it counts. I'm not so sure that's true here tonight. I got Seattle minus the 1.5.
Yeah, and in that last game versus, what is it, the Colts, I would argue they were looking ahead to this game versus the Rams. So I think the Rams have had their attention for a while, and I think we'll see that here tonight. So, Vino, man, I'm hungry. I still don't have time to go eat, I don't think, but time to shut this down. Let me see if I can get a snack. Um, Before I do that, let's toss some stuff up on the screen. A lot of different stuff going on nowadays. So let's see. We'll start with first of all, let's explain this. How about that? Because Weekend Warrior is different now. Weekend Warrior is now for Saturday and Sunday, and it involves every single sport. You can get it for $49. That is the new Weekend Warrior. Seems like with football winding down, they changed it up. Outside of that, we do have the full court all access pass. If you're a guy who doesn't care for football, doesn't want to bet football, or you don't care about our football bets, you can get 3 days of NBA and college basketball for only $49. If you like a little bit of everything, you can buy 3 days and get one free. They also have 10 days for less than $10 per day. Comes out to just 99. Now gets you all plays from you can choose, you want to choose Rob or myself. Then you can always do the longer term, which is the year. You'll get $500 off a 1 year pass. Comes out to just $125 a month. And for example, if you were to go get Rob Veno for a year, you will also get a 25% bonus coupon. You can come back and check out on myself. And I asked for this last one, so I'm gonna put it up. If you want to rock with me for the NBA through the finals, you can get it at a discounted rate for only $4.99. And I'm still number one dating back to December 2021 in the association. And I did lose the last couple of days, but we've been hot for a few weeks and we're going to get back on track. So a lot of different ways to get involved if you would like to. Vino, I'd like to think I did an okay job on the promos. So I'll pass to you and I'll ask you if there's anything else that I missed or that you would like to promote, feel free. If you have a best bet, we'd love to hear it.
I would just say really quick to everybody watching any of those all inclusive packages for sports, college hoop, NBA, college football, NFL football, because there's going to be college football every single day for like the next 20 something days. It makes those packages pretty valuable. So if you're looking to cover all bases, those are really good deals. Skee is, I'm going to be simplistic here. Sometimes simple wins. We like to go to logic school, but to me, there's no reason not to play Denver's team total over 121 and a half. I said earlier that they've gotten to this number 17 of the last 20 games, 121 at least, 17 of the last 20, 16 of 20, if you want to say 122 or better, which is what we need tonight. That's an 80% trend, and it's not a small sample size, 20 games. They just score. And I don't know that Orlando's going to be able to stop them from scoring here. So for me, best bet, the game I did bet already, Denver team total over 121 and a half. And go get some cheese.
Just go ahead and just go all the way. Huh? Don't even.
Yeah, go all in on the cheese.
For me, my best bet, I'll go with OKC first half. I did get 9.5 minus 120. I mean, well, we listed there was 16-9 ATS in the first half this year at home. Their differential, I believe, was 13 point. It's either 13.1 or 13.6. When they're motivated, which is usually every night, especially at home, especially after losing the game and losing the cup that they wanted to win, I think they'll spank those old tennis balls and walkers Los Angeles Clippers. So first half, 9.5 for OKC will be my best bet for the show. Vino, it's been a long show, but it's always great breaking the games down with you. Appreciate you taking the time to do it. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate you as well. If you enjoyed the show, hit the like button for us. It helps us out. We will be back again tomorrow. We have a decent amount of games. So we'll talk about the NBA. We'll maybe break down some more NFL for the weekend, and we will catch you all then.